When death draws close, some people see angels, some see ancestors, some see light, but others, in the raw, trembling moment before release, see something darker. A figure at a bedside, a presence in the corner, a shape formed from memory, guilt, or fear, not to punish, not to claim them, to test them. Tonight we explore the ancient belief that before crossing into the next world, a soul must face the darkness it carries and pass the test that darkness presents. I'm Candy, and this is Half Haunted Chronicles. Nearly every civilization describes a moment of confrontation at the edge of death. Beings appear not as executioners, but as examiners. They emerge in the Tibetan Bardo, Christian mysticism, Zulu spiritual tradition, Jewish, the Egyptian Duat, Siberian folklore. These entities are not demons in the somatic sense. They are gatekeepers, test givers, shadow forms, fear reflectors, truth bringers, and what's unsettling is how often modern near-death experiencers report the same sequence: before the light, darkness; before peace, confrontation. Tonight we step into that moment before the light many face, something darker, not to punish, but to confront. These are the tests no one escapes. The Tibetan wrathful beings. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes terrifying figures that appear after death. Wrathful deities with animal faces, flaming eyes, and voices like thunder. But Tibetan monks teach something crucial. These beings are not evil. They are the mind externalized. The instruction is clear. Recognize them and they dissolve. Fear them and they persist. Modern NDE survivors describe nearly identical encounters: shadowy beings, nightmarish imagery, a sense of being overwhelmed, and then a turning point when they stop running and turn toward the fear. It breaks apart the light. The Tibetans weren't describing monsters, they were describing inner reckoning. The medieval bedside test. Medieval monks wrote of the last temptation, a moment just before death when a dark figure appears at bedside, not to condemn, but to whisper, "You failed. You wasted your life. You aren't worthy." One monk recorded seeing a horned shadow lean close and murmur, "You have nothing to show." Fear rose and then passed. The monk replied calmly, "I know what you are." The figure vanished. He died moments later, peaceful, lucid. Modern hospice nurses report patients seeing similar figures, followed not by panic, but release. The Islamic barzakah. The questioners. In Islamic tradition, after death, the soul is visited by two beings, Munkar and Nakir. They ask three questions: who are you loyal to? What did you believe? What truth did you live? These beings are not punishers, they're clarifiers. Some near-death experiencers describe shadowy figures standing near them, not threatening, but expectant. One woman said, "It didn't frighten me. It felt like something was waiting to see if I knew myself." Moments later, she revived. Zulu Shadow Walker. Zulu elders speak of a shadow being that appears to the dying. Its role is not to harm, but to challenge. Facing it signals readiness, turning away signals unfinished life. A South African woman describes seeing a dark figure during a seizure. "It looked terrifying, but I understood it wasn't there to hurt me." She survived. Later she said, the shadow wasn't death, it was honesty. Modern hellish NDEs. In modern near-death research, about 15% of experiences begin in darkness. A void, hostile figures, suffocating fear, a sense of being trapped, but the vast majority transition into light. One man described being dragged by shadowy forms until he stopped resisting. "When I looked at them," he said, "they weren't monsters. They were parts of me I had abandoned." The moment he recognized them, the landscape changed. The light replaced darkness. These experiences aren't punishment, they're integration. Ancient cultures. This episode isn't about demons or monsters, it's about shadow, the shadow within us, the shadow we inherit, the shadow we avoid. Near-death experiencers don't describe punishment, they describe confrontation. Every fear, every regret, every unhealed wound, every truth avoided in life. The beings they meet aren't jailers, they're mirrors. Ancient cultures understood something simple and profound. To reach the light, you must walk through your own darkness. And maybe the deepest truth behind all these stories is this: the demons who test the dying are not waiting for us at death. They've been waiting our entire lives to be faced. Tonight, we stepped into the shadows, the trials, and tests that confront the soul before crossing over. Next episode, we move from confrontation to passage, an exploration of why cultures across the world believe the dead must cross the river to reach an afterlife. Until next time, stay curious and always, always stay haunted.